Hi, Deidre here from Our Upcycled Life. I'm going to show you today how I created this Easter sign from a scrap piece of wood with some Mod Podge graphics. I'm just using a scrap piece of pine I had, and we're going to paint it and give it a really chippy, layered look. First coat, some black chalk paint. Now I've got out my Vaseline, and I'm going to put some Vaseline all around the outside of this piece of wood. Wherever you put Vaseline, the paint won't stick to it and it helps give it a real chippy look. Now we're going to layer up a few different Easter colors. First layer, we're going to use some pink acrylic paint. Now I've got out my pillar candle. It's just a wax candle from the dollar store, and I'm going to aggressively put it all around the edges and all over the piece of wood. This is also going to act a lot like the Vaseline, and the paint won't stick to it, giving it a really chippy look. Now we're going to layer up some more colors. We've got a beautiful yellow, and I love this turquoise. I'm going to put on some hairspray now. Hairspray will create a little bit of a crackle finish on your projects. Just gives it that aged look. I put a really thick coat of that hairspray on, let it dry completely, and now I'm putting a top coat of white acrylic paint. I find the acrylic paint works the best with the hairspray technique to make it crackle. If you haven't seen my tutorial on how to do crackle paint with hairspray, I'll put a link down below in the description and you can check it out after you watch this. I'm going to get out my heat gun and I'm going to dry that acrylic paint, and as you'll dry it, you'll see all those crackles appear from the hairspray underneath. I love incorporating all these different techniques to take a brand new piece of wood and make it look old and vintage and then turn it into a sign. It just makes it look more authentic and unique and a one-of-a-kind piece. And it's starting to dry, and you can see the crackles start to appear already. With the hairspray, it's just like a fine crackle that'll appear. We are now ready to scrape it down and get all those colors showing through. This is just a razor scraper that I'm using. You can use any kind of scraper, and there's no method to this. You just do it and keep scraping until you get the desired look that you like. You're going to scrape through the hairspray layer, you're going to scrape through the candle wax layer, and you're going to scrape through the Vaseline layer, and you're going to see all those colors come peeking through. If you only want one layer of color, then you just put on your base color, and then you add your technique to distress, and then paint on top of it, and you'll just have the contrast of the two colors. But I find that's not very much fun. I love adding all kinds of layers, all kinds of different colors, and it makes that piece of wood look like it's been painted many times over throughout the years. And then to turn it into a sign, I think it looks fantastic. And here is the result. I think it's so worth it to take a little bit of extra time and do these steps when you're prepping for a sign. And you can see the turquoise, you can see the yellow, you can see the pink, you can see the black. And of course, this is what the wood looked like before, and this is what I turned it into. Okay, now we're ready to turn this into a sign. I'm going to use this graphic. I designed it. It's available in my Etsy store if you want to use it to make one of these signs yourself. Make sure you use the code SAVE50 because you get 50% off all of my graphics. And this is printed on regular computer paper on my LaserJet printer. And if you design your own graphics, you have to make sure that you reverse your text. Now to make the sign, we're going to use my Mod Podge mat. And you're going to just apply it over that whole graphic. You don't want it on too thick, just a nice light coat over that whole piece of paper. Okay, now we're ready to put it on the sign. You want to make sure that you have it exactly where you want it, because once you place it down, you can't move it. And then we're going to rub out all the bubbles and all the wrinkles. Make sure you have it pressed really well into that wood. We've let it sit for 24 hours, and now I've taken a damp rag and I've just dampened the graphics until you can start to see them show through the paper. And then with your fingers, you're just going to rub off all of the paper. And as you do that, your graphic will show through and you'll have a wonderful sign. All the paper's rubbed off, and I'm going to put a little bit of a finishing touch to it. I'm going to paint those carrots with a little bit of orange paint. I've just got some orange acrylic paint and a little paintbrush, and I'm just going to just put a little bit on those carrots just so it gives it a pop of color. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of a rag and just dab into that orange paint just so you can see the graphic through it. So it's just giving it just like a tint of orange. If you have a steady hand, this is a great way of adding a little pop of color to just your black graphics and just make them pop a little bit more. I added a little bit of green on the stem and we're ready to seal it up. I'm going to seal it up with my polyacrylic sealer, water-based, and a matte finish. And there you have the finished sign. I drilled holes in each end and then added some jute string to hang it from. I think it just kind of gives it that cute little effect, and I think it turned out fantastic. Taking that extra time and creating that chippy layered paint look underneath your signs, so worth it. Let me know down in the comments what you think. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video.